Dear Starseed from Gaia, the place you keep avoiding is exactly where he's waiting for you, and divine timing is bringing you there now. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and the reunion guides are speaking through me with a message your heart is ready to receive. Do not turn away from the feeling, memory, or truth rising within you. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to navigate twin flame separation. But here's the first revelation. He's not waiting for you to chase him. He's waiting for you to meet the part of yourself you keep abandoning. Your twin flame journey led you here because this avoided place holds the healing that opens the path towards sacred union. This isn't content, it's a transmission. Something in your soul is ready to remember. Like this transmission to affirm to the universe, my heart is ready for divine love. Comment level 11 lemon if you feel your heart awakening to divine truth. Your heart knows why you're here. What you just felt, the tension around the place you keep avoiding, is not a sign that you are failing. It is your frequency remembering where the deepest healing is waiting to begin. If this transmission stirred something you cannot name, the Divine Love frequency code was written for this exact moment in your journey. It contains 5 sacred Arcturian transmissions designed to dissolve the wounds blocking your divine counterpart and activate the signal that draws them closer. The link is in the first pinned comment, but it will only remain there for a short time. And now, gently, let yourself notice what that place is for you. It may be the silence after you stop checking your phone. It may be the conversation you keep postponing, the boundary you are afraid to set, the grief you tell everyone you have already moved beyond. It may be the part of your life where you feel unseen, unchosen, or uncertain about what comes next. You may have been calling it a delay, a loss, a season of loneliness, or a detour. But beneath that name is often a threshold, a narrow passage between the identity you have outgrown and the truth you are finally ready to inhabit. Sometimes the avoided place appears as a physical room, a familiar street, an old photograph, or a name you cannot hear without feeling your chest tighten. Sometimes it is less visible. It is the moment before sleep when the distractions disappear. It is the first morning after deciding not to reach out. It is the pause after someone asks you what you truly want, and you realize you have been answering with what will keep everyone else comfortable. The heart does not always lead you toward comfort first. Sometimes it leads you toward truth, and truth may not arrive like thunder. It may come as a quiet knowing that you have been settling. It may come as a tiredness that no amount of positive thinking can cover. It may come as tears appearing while you are washing dishes, driving home, or listening to a song you thought you had already healed from. These moments are not signs that you are moving backward. They are the soul loosening what the mind once had to hold together. The place you avoid is not necessarily where a specific person is physically waiting. It may be the inner room where you have abandoned yourself in order to be loved. It may be the quiet realization that you have been asking another person to give you the permission, safety, and tenderness you have not yet learned to offer yourself. And when that realization rises, it can feel like heartbreak all over again. Not because you are being punished, but because an old pattern is losing its power. Imagine an old house within you, built room by room from every moment you had to hide your needs. In one room, you placed your anger because it was not safe to express it. In another, you placed your longing because it seemed embarrassing to want so much. In the darkest room, you placed the memory of being left, rejected, or misunderstood. You may have locked those doors and called yourself healed, but healing is not the same as forgetting where the doors are. Eventually, the light of awareness finds the cracks, and what was buried begins asking to be welcomed home. Many souls on the path of sacred love believe they are waiting for someone to arrive before they can finally relax into their lives. They imagine that the right connection will remove the uncertainty, dissolve the loneliness, and prove that all the difficult seasons had meaning. But divine love does not arrive to rescue you from your own becoming. It meets you at the place where you stop abandoning yourself. This does not mean that your longing is foolish or that the connection meant nothing. It means the connection may be inviting you into a deeper form of fulfillment than the mind first imagined. You may have believed the blessing was the person, while the soul was pointing toward the awakening that occurred through the connection. You may have thought the destination was reunion, while the deeper destination was the return of your own voice. Divine love is not a prize handed to the person who waits the longest. It is a living current that becomes clearer when you are no longer trying to make another human being responsible for your entire sense of safety. It can include romance, devotion, physical closeness, and a shared future, but it must also include truth. Without truth, even the most mystical connection becomes a beautiful doorway leading into confusion. This is why the very space you avoid can become magnetized with transformation. It holds the emotions you did not have the capacity to feel before. It carries the truth you were not ready to admit. It contains the version of you who is no longer willing to negotiate with confusion, mixed signals, or relationships that require you to become smaller in order to remain wanted. There may be a seed beneath that soil, but the soil must first be opened. The breaking apart of an old identity can feel like loss, because the shell that protected you is also the shell that limited you. You may mourn the version of yourself who believed that endurance could earn love. You may mourn the fantasies that helped you survive an uncertain connection. Let that mourning be sacred. Grief is not proof that you made the wrong choice. It is often proof that you are telling the truth about what something meant to you. There is a difference between longing for a person and longing for the emotional experience you believe that person will provide. You may say you are waiting for him, but beneath that waiting may be a desire to feel safe, to feel recognized, to feel chosen without having to perform for it, to be met with consistency instead of questions. The soul uses the image of a beloved to reveal these needs, but the deeper invitation is to become available for the quality of love itself. Ask yourself gently, what do I imagine I will finally feel when he chooses me? Will I feel valuable, rested, secure, beautiful, free from comparison, released from the fear that I am too much or not enough? Each answer is a key. It shows you not what you should shame yourself for wanting, but what your inner world is asking you to cultivate and protect. This is where the first opening begins. You must become willing to meet yourself in the place where you have been waiting for someone else to meet you. You meet yourself through simple, almost invisible acts. You listen when your body says no. You stop explaining your boundaries to people committed to misunderstanding them. You allow yourself to eat, sleep, breathe, and live without making every decision based on whether someone else might return. You speak to yourself with the same tenderness you would offer a wounded child sitting alone beneath a window, still hoping footsteps will come down the hallway. That does not mean pretending you do not desire partnership. It does not mean denying the tenderness of your connection or forcing yourself to stop caring. It means allowing your desire to become honest rather than desperate. You can love someone and still refuse to abandon your dignity. You can feel a soul connection and still require communication, respect, accountability, and emotional presence. Sacred love does not ask you to call pain a sign of destiny. Love is not proven by how often you override your intuition. It is not made more sacred by secrecy, neglect, or emotional starvation. Even the biblical language of love points toward patience, kindness, truth, and endurance, not toward the disappearance of the self. Love rejoices with the truth. Let that become a compass. If a connection requires you to deny what is happening in front of you, then it is not truth that is being honored, no matter how intense the spiritual signs may feel. When you enter the avoided place with compassion, you begin to discover the wound beneath the pattern. Maybe you keep pursuing people who remain emotionally distant because their distance feels familiar. Maybe you withdraw the moment someone comes close because intimacy awakens the fear that you will eventually be left. Maybe you keep replaying an old relationship in your mind because the unresolved story gives you a reason not to risk a new one. These patterns are not proof that you are broken. They are protective strategies created by a heart that once learned love could disappear without warning. Perhaps you learned to become useful so no one would leave. Perhaps you became endlessly understanding, accepting explanations that wounded you because being called easy to love felt safer than being honest about your needs. Perhaps you learned to disappear before rejection could reach you. The nervous system remembers what the conscious mind tries to dismiss. It may scan every message for hidden meaning, every silence for danger, every change in tone for the beginning of abandonment. But protection can become imprisonment when it remains in control long after the danger has passed. The lock may have once kept pain outside, but now it may also be keeping tenderness outside. The armor that protected your heart may be so familiar that you mistake its weight for strength. True strength is not never needing anyone. It is knowing that you can remain connected to yourself even when another person is uncertain. It is learning that disappointment may hurt, but it does not have the power to erase you. The next opening is the worthiness chamber. Somewhere within you may still be carrying the belief that love must be earned through patience, sacrifice, beauty, spiritual growth, or perfect understanding. You may unconsciously believe that if you become healed enough, calm enough, desirable enough, or easy enough to love, then the right person will finally stay. But you are never meant to audition for belonging. You do not have to become less emotional to be worthy of care. You do not have to be endlessly available, endlessly forgiving, or endlessly radiant. You are allowed to have needs that inconvenience people who benefited from your silence. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to outgrow the role of the person who waits quietly while everyone else decides what happens next. Your worth is not a reward for becoming flawless. It is the ground from which healthy love grows. When you begin to believe this, not as a phrase repeated over pain, but as a truth practiced in daily choices, you stop accepting partial presence as a full relationship. You stop interpreting another person's inability to show up as evidence that you need to try harder. You stop confusing waiting with devotion. The world may have taught you to look outward for confirmation, a message, a promise, a ring, a return, a public declaration. But worthiness begins before confirmation arrives. It is present in the way you care for your body, the way you speak to your own reflection, the way you choose environments that do not continually reopen your wounds. It is present when you leave the table where you are being fed crumbs, even if part of you still hopes the meal will become abundant. This is where your energetic field begins to change. Not because you are manipulating another person into returning, but because you are no longer broadcasting the message that love may approach you without honoring you. Your frequency is not a magical performance designed to control the free will of another. It is the atmosphere created by your repeated choices. When your choices say, "I am available for honesty," you begin to recognize honesty. When your choices say, "I no longer chase what withdraws," your attention becomes less captive to absence. When your choices say, "I can survive being misunderstood," you no longer need to betray your truth to prevent discomfort. Then comes the mirror. The people who activate you most deeply often reveal the places where your heart still feels divided. The connection may have awakened extraordinary tenderness, but it may also have touched your fear of rejection, your fear of being replaced, your fear that you will never experience this depth again. The mirror is not asking you to blame yourself for someone else's behavior. It is showing you what requires your care. Sometimes the mirror reveals a longing for reassurance. Sometimes it reveals how quickly you abandon your own perception when another person offers a different explanation. Sometimes it reveals that you are more comfortable being desired from a distance than being truly known up close. These revelations can be uncomfortable, but they are also liberating. Once you can see the pattern, you are no longer required to live inside it unconsciously. Your counterpart, whether this person ultimately shares your physical path or serves as a catalyst for your awakening, cannot complete the parts of you that you refuse to touch. No human being can permanently fill the space created by self-abandonment, and no distance can prevent love from becoming real when both people have developed the capacity to express it with clarity. The soul may recognize potential, but human relationships are built through behavior. A person may have a beautiful spirit and still be unavailable. They may feel deeply and still lack the courage to communicate. They may be part of your awakening and still not be capable of offering the relationship your heart needs. Discernment allows you to honor the spiritual meaning without ignoring the human reality. This is why chasing signs can become another form of avoidance. You can spend hours searching for messages, numbers, dreams, predictions, and confirmations while avoiding the one question that would bring you back into alignment. How am I treating myself today? Are you honoring your body or using spiritual hope to remain in exhaustion? Are you speaking honestly or expecting someone to read the feelings you conceal? Are you allowing your life to expand or placing every joy on hold until a relationship gives you permission to begin? Are you consuming guidance that brings peace and clarity or content that keeps you in a constant state of anticipation? Are you calling anxiety a psychic message simply because it feels intense? Are you allowing your imagination to inspire you or using it to excuse behavior that reality has already made clear? The heart's guidance is often quieter than obsession. It does not need to frighten you into action. It does not require you to monitor another person constantly. It may lead you to send a message, but it may also lead you to stop sending messages. It may invite you to remain open, but it may also ask you to close a door that has repeatedly shown you it cannot hold what you bring. Guidance may feel like a deep breath after a long period of bracing. It may feel like the clean sadness of acceptance. It may not always offer the dramatic certainty you are seeking. Sometimes it simply gives you enough light for the next step, like a lantern on a nighttime path. You are not shown the entire road because learning to trust yourself is part of the journey. The sacred path is not defined by how long you can endure uncertainty. It is defined by how honestly you can listen. There is also an old contract that many sensitive souls carry, the belief that suffering proves the depth of love. Somewhere along the way, you may have learned to measure devotion by how much you can tolerate. You may have mistaken emotional intensity for intimacy, longing for compatibility, and anxiety for intuition. When the connection feels powerful, you may assume it must be destined. But power alone does not make a bond nourishing. A storm is powerful, but you would not build your home beneath the lightning. Fire is powerful, but it must be held with care. In the same way, a connection can be electric and still leave you depleted. The question is not only whether someone awakens your feelings, the question is whether the relationship gives those feelings a safe place to live. A relationship can be spiritually significant and still be unsuitable for the life you are building. Someone can awaken your heart and still lack the readiness to care for it. A connection can be part of your soul's curriculum without being the place where your story ends. Releasing this does not erase the meaning. It releases the demand that meaning must take one specific form. Perhaps the lesson was to show you the depth of your capacity to love. Perhaps it was to awaken creativity, courage, sensuality, or self-respect. Perhaps it was to reveal the difference between a familiar wound and a genuine home. A chapter can be sacred even when it closes. The fact that it changed you does not mean you must keep returning to it. When you let go of the contract that says love must hurt before it can be trusted, your heart begins to recognize a different kind of magnetism. Consistency may feel unfamiliar at first. Peace may seem less exciting than uncertainty. A person who communicates directly may not trigger the same rush as someone who disappears and returns. But do not mistake the absence of chaos for the absence of chemistry. Sometimes your nervous system has been trained to call instability passion. Your healing may initially feel like boredom because your body is learning that calm is safe. At first, peace may seem almost suspicious. You may wonder why there is no urgent need to prove yourself, decode a silence, or earn a response. Stay with that quiet. Let your body learn the difference between a lack of stimulation and a lack of love. Healthy affection may not arrive with a burning question mark. It may arrive as someone remembering what matters to you, honoring a promise, making room for your feelings, and allowing you to remain fully yourself. This is also why divine timing cannot be reduced to waiting passively. Timing is not a command to put your life on hold. It is an invitation to prepare your inner and outer world for the kind of love you say you desire. If you want emotional honesty, practice honesty. If you want partnership, become a partner to your own life. If you want someone who can hold space for your truth, stop silencing yourself to keep the peace. Divine timing includes preparation, but it also includes movement. Apply for the opportunity. Visit the place you have wanted to see. Begin the healing conversation. Create the art. Make your home a place where your future self can breathe. Do not wait for a relationship to validate the life that is already asking to be lived through you. The person aligned with you is not looking for a perfect version of you. They are meeting the version of you who can remain present when fear rises, the version who can communicate instead of testing, the version who can receive affection without immediately searching for the hidden reason it will be taken away, the version who knows that love is not secured by control. You do not have to know everything before you begin. You only need the willingness to notice when fear is speaking and choose not to let it make every decision. You can say, "I feel afraid," without turning fear into prophecy. You can ask for reassurance without making another person responsible for healing every old wound. You can be vulnerable while still maintaining discernment. And that is where the magnetic embodiment begins. You do not attract sacred love by performing a frequency. You embody it by making choices that are congruent with it. You become a match for devotion when you stop betraying yourself for temporary closeness. You become a match for truth when you stop creating fantasies around unavailable people. You become a match for tenderness when you allow yourself to grieve without turning grief into an identity. Your energy changes every time you choose alignment over familiar pain. It changes when you stop looking for hidden messages in obvious absence. It changes when you no longer punish yourself for needing clarity. It changes when you let a no be a complete sentence and allow a yes to be supported by action. The universe does not need you to become someone else. It is asking you to become coherent, to let your thoughts, words, boundaries, and choices speak the same language. If you are in separation, the space between you may be revealing more than the absence of contact. It may be showing whether you can return to yourself without turning the distance into a punishment. Separation does not automatically mean reunion is guaranteed. It can be a season of preparation, but preparation must be visible in your life. Are you becoming more grounded or more consumed, more compassionate or more controlling, more open to reality or more attached to an imagined future? You can bless the connection without making it the center of every hour. You can honor what you felt without treating every coincidence as a promise. You can leave the door unlocked in your heart while refusing to stand outside it all night. If communication returns, let it be met by the person you are becoming, not by the version of you who was desperate for any sign of life. The gift of distance is not that it gives you permission to wait forever. The gift is that it returns your attention to the only place where your power has always lived: your own heart, your own choices, your own capacity to love without self-erasure. And when you have turned these keys: worthiness, self-recognition, release, timing, embodiment, and discernment, you may discover that the place you were avoiding no longer feels like an empty room. It becomes a meeting place with yourself. It becomes the threshold where you hear what your heart has been saying beneath the noise. In that room, you may find the younger self who wanted to be chosen. You may find the dream you postponed while waiting for certainty. You may find a voice that says, "I am still here." The avoided place becomes sacred not because it contains every answer, but because you are no longer afraid to be present there. Perhaps he is waiting there as a literal partner, ready to meet you when both of you have the capacity to build something real. Perhaps he is waiting there as a reflection of the love you are finally learning to receive. Perhaps the deeper truth is that the future relationship can only find you because you stopped hiding from the present version of yourself. Do not force the meaning today. Let it unfold through your choices. Tonight, place your hand over your heart and allow the avoided place to come to mind. Do not analyze it. Do not demand a prediction. Simply breathe and say, "I am willing to meet what I have been avoiding with compassion. I release the belief that love requires me to abandon myself. I am available for a love that is clear, mutual, grounded, and free." Then notice what your body tells you. There may be sadness. There may be relief. There may be resistance. All of it belongs. Healing is not always a beautiful feeling. Sometimes healing is the first honest no. Sometimes it is deleting the message you wrote from panic. Sometimes it is making the appointment, taking the walk, telling the truth, or allowing yourself to enjoy a day that has nothing to do with whether someone returns. These small acts are not separate from your sacred union path. They are the path. Every time you choose nourishment, you teach your body that you are worth caring for. Every time you rest instead of spiraling, you teach your spirit that urgency is not the same as truth. Every time you allow joy to enter without asking whether it will last, you loosen the grip of fear. Healing is built from these quiet repetitions. Like a river shaping stone, not through one dramatic moment, but through faithful movement over time. Here is the truth. Your higher heart has been trying to return to you. You are not being denied love because you have not suffered enough. You are not being overlooked because you are unworthy. You are not behind because another person has not yet arrived in the form you expected. You are being invited to stop placing your life outside yourself. You are not a forgotten prayer waiting in an empty sky. You are a living soul, already held by a love greater than any one person's decision. The absence of a relationship does not mean the absence of purpose. The unanswered question does not mean your story has been abandoned. Even now, life is working through you in your courage, your boundaries, your healing, and your willingness to begin again. The love you seek is not asking you to stand at the door of someone else's uncertainty forever. It is asking you to open the door within you where your own tenderness has been waiting. It is asking you to become so honest with your needs that anything misaligned can no longer disguise itself as destiny. It is asking you to let your heart remain open without leaving your discernment behind. And when that happens, loneliness begins to change its message. It is no longer proof that you are forgotten. It becomes space in which you can hear yourself. Heartbreak is no longer evidence that love failed. It becomes the place where illusion separates from truth. Waiting is no longer a punishment. It becomes the season in which you learn that your life is worthy of being lived now, not someday after someone chooses you. If he is meant to walk beside you, he will not require you to disappear in order to make room for him. The love aligned with your soul will recognize your wholeness, not demand your diminishment. It will meet your openness with openness, your honesty with honesty, and your healing with a willingness to continue growing. So return to the place you keep avoiding, not to chase a person, but to reclaim the part of you that has been waiting there. That is where your power is. That is where your love is becoming clear. And that is where the next chapter can finally begin. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real from your heart journey. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or love. This isn't content, it's collective healing. Love multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your life is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow of divine love guidance. You're not just watching, you're healing. This is your sacred space, and we're just getting started.